It's time for Real Estate 101 with the Karey Brown team from Realty Executives Preferred Advisors.
Good Sunday morning to you. This is Karey Brown, broker owner of Realty Executives Preferred Advisors, and you're listening to Real Estate 101. Today we have a really fun show. You know, Thanksgiving's coming up, and we all know that I'm not much of a cook if you listen to the show at all. So I have the ultimate cook of all times, Chef Alli, here with me today, and we're going to be talking about cool things to do for Thanksgiving and gift-giving ideas.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. You know what? It's funny that you say Thanksgiving because I was really going to try to pass right over Thanksgiving because you know what always happens is here comes Thanksgiving and I tell the boys, okay, Thanksgiving's passed. Now I can put my Christmas stuff out. And then it's barely out and you have to put it all away. And so then I never do that and it's still up at Valentine's Day. So I thought this year, November the 1st, I'll start putting my Christmas stuff up so it can be up for like 2 whole months and then maybe I'll want to take it down. So to be real honest with you, I haven't even thought about Thanksgiving, but we can talk about it just the same. Yeah.
So wait a minute. Who cooks your Thanksgiving meal?
Well, I am this year, but sometimes I don't. Sometimes I get to go to my sister-in-law or my brother's house, and she cooks, and I just get to sit there and drink my wine. But this year I am going to cook.
See, that's my favorite part.
Yeah. What? The cooking?
Sitting there and drinking the wine.
Oh, yeah. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Well, so then let me ask you a question. Have you, or do you guys, because I know your husband's the cook, does he brine his turkey?
He actually deep fries it.
But before he deep fries it, does he do any kind of prep to it before?
Yes.
Yeah? But you don't know what that is, do you?
No.
I love it. Well, brining is used to be pretty much just a restaurant technique that people used, but now home cooks do it all over the place. And it's super easy, but it makes such a huge difference, not only in poultry, but also in pork. I use it for chicken all the time, like chicken breasts, that have a tendency to be drier. So it's really just a matter of creating the brine, which is the majority of it is salt, water, your spices. So you simmer that on the stove until your salt is dissolved. You cool it. Then you put your turkey or your turkey breast, whatever, in a ginormous bag. Put your brine in there, tie it all up, put it in a cooler. Unless you have room in your refrigerator. Most people don't, And then put it in a cooler and leave him there for 24 hours, depending on how big it is. And I don't know, I can't tell you technically how the science works on that, but what happens is that Tom turkey, releases his juices, okay, as he's sitting there in the brine, and then he pulls them back in at some point, along with some of that salt, and that breaks down the fibers in the proteins of the meat and makes it so they hold that moisture in there. And if you don't think it makes a difference, you got to try it just one time and you'll be sold.
So my husband calls it basting. So he does he does ribs and everything else, and he uses a rub and preps everything the night before. So he just calls it something different.
Yeah, probably. And that's the cool thing about cooking. Everybody has a different term, but sometimes we just got to figure out that we are on the same page, And that's why I like talking about food, because food is super personal. And so if you want to talk about food, I like to talk about food. If you want to talk about cooking, we can talk about cooking. I mean, there's a jillion million things. But I think the important thing is that we all come together at the dinner table, no matter what it is we do, in the heart of the home, the kitchen. That's my favorite place to be. Just like, have you ever noticed when you have guests, they won't, like, we have a great room, and are they in the great room right there beside my kitchen? No. They want to be in the kitchen right on top of you.
Yeah.
Because they want to take part. They want to see what you're doing. So does your husband give you jobs in the kitchen, or do you just stay out?
It depends. If he's had a long day at work, I stay out.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Usually I'm home later than he is, and that's how that whole role got flipped. I usually, in real estate, our schedule is never our own,
right?
Typically, and he gets home around 3 or 4, so Perfect. He gets everything done. I come home, I eat.
Oh, bummer.
Yeah. So it is not a rough life.
Sweet. That's cool. Well, I'm glad that he enjoys it, because think what would happen if he didn't.
Oh, I'd be a lot skinnier.
But okay. Yeah, I know that part of it too. But it's interesting because I'm hearing that a lot more, than I used to about how, like, I'll have moms who will tell me, my daughter doesn't cook at all, but thankfully her husband does. And so I like getting to hear that there's more involvement, in that.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah. But
my mom was shocked by it. But again, he's at home hours and hours before I am typically.
Mm-hmm.
So, and there used to be a day where I'd still come home and I would try and work and cook, and that just resulted in a lot of burnt meals.
Right.
So, if you don't like it charred, I should probably leave it alone.
Cooking is hard work. It just is. There's no way to get around that. It's hard work. And so as I always see myself as the kitchen crusader, always trying to connect with home cooks. And it's my job to make for sure that things are as easy for you and as streamlined for you as it can be. So I'm always trying to figure out all the hacks and all the stuff that can maybe just make it so it's not such drudgery in the kitchen. And sometimes that has to do with your tools. You don't have to have a lot of gadgets. I did bring some gadgets here because it's gift-giving time. That I was going to tell you about, because I always create a list every year so that people can have some ideas about what's new and trendy out there. But you really have to have, what you have to have is what I call the Holy Trinity. Okay, so it's your chef knife, your wooden cutting board that supports your chef knife, and then you have to have one, just one, but it has to be a really good heavy bottom skillet. So does your husband like cooking with cast iron?
He does.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. The only bad thing about cast iron is as you start to get a little older, because I'm 55 this year, and that pan seems really heavy. Really heavy. But it cooks so great because it has that heavy bottom, and, that charring that you mentioned is just, so essential to how our food tastes. Yeah.
So I have had, my husband's been cleaning up after a hurricane. So he's been gone for quite some time. So I've been having to cook. So what I will say is baking in Instapots have saved my life.
Okay.
Just because I can't mess it up. Baking, you just stick the thermometer in there and make sure it's cooked all the way.
Uh-huh.
Otherwise, if I cook on top of a stove,
right,
I believe that everything should be cooked at high.
Gotcha. Hurry up.
Hurry up.
Yeah. I know. So you have an Instapot electric pressure cooker.
Mm-hmm.
And how long have you had that?
About 4 months.
Okay. Cool.
And just used it recently.
What'd you make?
A roast.
And it turned out like you wanted it to?
I think so. I mean, everybody ate it. Nobody got sick.
That's two. Yeah, that's a plus right there. It's funny because lots of people will tell me, I bought that pressure cooker because I wanted to make a really good roast, and it was a huge fail. And the one thing that I think a lot of times people don't understand about an electric pressure cooker and animal protein, even vegetable protein like beans. Have you cooked beans in your Instapot yet?
Not yet.
Oh, my gosh. It's like, do I live under a rock or what? But beans in your pressure cooker versus beans that come out of a can are so night and day different that once you have it, you're not going to want to buy the canned beans. You will, because sometimes life is about survival when it comes to dinner. You know what I mean? But so the thing is, you have to understand the natural, there's a quick release on your pressure cooker where you let the steam out, the pressure out right now. And then there's what we call a natural release where you do nothing and you let the pressure come down naturally, very slowly on its own. Because when you're pressure cooking, a special, like that roast that you mentioned, all of that pressure is on that roast and those fibers are freaking out. It's just going, wah, in your pressure cooker, right? So if you jerk it right out, because what are the two things? Well, I'll tell you the two things that I typically hear when it comes to pressure cooking is, oh my gosh, I remember Grandma's pressure cooker, and it's like, get out of the kitchen because it blows up and you have dinner all over the ceiling. Or the other thing that you hear is, oh my gosh, no, I do not want anything to do with that because I remember Grandma's boiled meat, essentially meaning it was kind of like shoe leather. Well, in Grandma's defense, she probably had a whole passel of kids around the table because, back in the day, you had lots of kids because you need a lot of help on the farm. So she was probably just trying to hurry up and get dinner on the table to feed them, so she would jerk it right out of the pressure cooker, throw it down on the cutting board. Well, as she's cutting, those fibers are still freaking out because they haven't had that time to just chill. And that's what that natural release does, so that when you cut across the fiber, it's tender. But if you take it right out, I've had so many people so disappointed, and I hate to hear that. So I have to ask you, well, you said you've only made one thing. So have you heard of making hard-boiled eggs in your pressure cooker?
I have heard, and I've looked up on Pinterest, so I have a Pinterest board of all the things that I want to try and cook before he's here to I wouldn't say critique how I'm doing it.
To
yes.
help you.
Yes, to help me in his own little way.
Yeah. Well, once you do that, you will never hard-boil an egg any other way. That's like the first thing I always tell people when they first get their pressure cooker. Okay, I want you to make something that I know you're going to be super, super successful at, because then you'll be excited. You'll have a lot more confidence. You'll want to keep pressure cooking because I struggle to do hard-boiled eggs on the stove even, but when you do it 5 minutes in your Instant Pot or your I like the Cuisinart pressure cooker. 5 minutes in there on high pressure, and you let all the steam out. You do the quick release, and you immediately just dump the eggs and a little bit of water. And I usually do like a whole dozen at a time. You just dump it out into a big bowl of ice water. And then the hardest part is waiting 30 seconds. And then you put your hands in there, and you pick up an egg, and you put your thumbs like right here on top of the shell, and you go, psh, psh, and they go. It's amazing. I mean, the shells just fly right off.
Oh, wow.
So you know how at Easter time, you want to make deviled eggs, and you go to the store, and the eggs are all super fresh because the turnover is a lot quicker.
Right.
And you get your eggs home, and you hard boil them, and those stupid shells won't come off. So I thought, all right, I bet that Instant Pot is still going to have the same problem with super fresh eggs. So I went over to my neighbors, and I practically held my hand underneath the chicken, getting super fresh ones because I wanted to test him. It was the same. The shells will just fly right off, and it's like the best thing ever to try.
Wow.
You got to try that. Yeah.
Yeah, he loves deviled eggs.
So, see? Yeah. Yeah. But I can't say enough, just like you. I know you're excited about your pressure cooker, but it's really cool to see the huge resurgence in that. And also to be able to tell people, you know what? It's not like grandma's pressure cooker. There's not that little on the top that's scary, you know, and I'm sure you've noticed there's really no noise when you're using it. If there's noise, there's a problem.
Right.
Somewhere, somehow in there. But, yeah, it's a great small appliance. So have you been able to, when I got mine, how long? Probably about 4.5 years ago is when I started pressure cooking. And the cool thing about Thanksgiving is if you don't want to do a whole bird, you could put a turkey breast right in there. The 6-quart, I don't know what size you have. Do you have?
It's the larger one.
The 8-quart?
Yeah.
8 or 10 quart. So you could get a nice fat turkey breast right in there. And oh my gosh. Yeah. Really, really, really awesome. But I got rid of my slow cooker because I wasn't a huge fan of that. I know a lot of people are. But I retired that to the small appliance cemetery, and also my rice cooker, because when you have an electric pressure cooker, you can utilize that for both of those jobs, slow cooking or have you made, well, you haven't made my rice yet.
I'm still at the roast.
Okay. Very good. Well,
this is a learning experience for me.
Yeah, well, I want it to be. I hope it is for everybody because I'm a lifelong learner. I like learning new stuff every day. And I love to see people get excited about cooking and eating and all that goes into it. So
prior to meeting my husband, I was raised in the South. So I was raised fried foods, fried chicken, fried potatoes, everything fried. That's how my mother cooked. So hopefully she doesn't listen to this show. But that is the only...
She'll still love you.
Yeah. That was the only thing that she was really, really good at was frying everything. My dad said that whenever they first got married, she tried to make donuts and even the dogs wouldn't eat it.
Poor Mom.
Because they were scared they were going to lose their teeth.
Poor Mom.
So I didn't come from a strong line of cookers. I mean, everybody, even my grandmother, everything was fried. And now I don't fry anything because, you know, I just don't. My husband's a huge meat guy and
a carnivore.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, mine are too.
He's the ultimate smoker. I mean, we have the great big huge pull behind smoker.
Really?
And
awesome.
he does contests and everything like that. And you would think he's Italian because if you don't eat his food, he gets offended. He's like, does it not taste good?
Yeah, I know.
Is
We do take that to heart sometimes. Yeah. Because to us, the biggest praise is an empty pan. We want it to be all gone because everybody loved it so much. And then you feel like your work paid off and it's gone. So they enjoyed it. And my job is done. I did good. Yeah.
So we're going to take a minute to hear from our sponsors, which is State Farm, Carpet One, and Vista, and Security First. So be sure and listen to the commercial real quick, and we'll be back, and we'll be talking about different gifts. So I'm sure Chef Alli has a lot of great ideas.
Southwest Topeka has a good neighbor. State Farm agent Jim Garrison, now at 29th and Urish. If your current insurance situation has you going around in circles, get off the roundabout and stop in and meet Jim and his wonderfully efficient staff. Let Jim Garrison give you a quote and make the Garrison comparison. He's confident that with State Farm's competitive rates, the right coverage, and his unmatched service, you'll want to make him your new insurance agent. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there, and Jim Garrison is there for you, northeast of the roundabout at 29th and Urish.
This is Stephen Parkin at Invista Credit Union. Purchasing a home is one of the most exciting and important decisions someone can make. Let me tell you why Invista is the best choice for financing your new home purchase. First, quick pre-approval process. Our fast decision-making gives you the power to act quickly and make an offer on your dream home. Second, local servicing. We service your mortgage in-house. You won't get a long-distance runaround, but a committed professional whose only job is to help you. Third, experienced team. We are dedicated to simplifying the process and educating you through the home buying process. Come by Invista. It's okay to dream. In fact, it's encouraged. We are your home buying partner. Give us a call at 785-228-0149.
And we're back. This is Karey Brown, broker owner, Realty Executives Preferred Advisors. You're listening to Real Estate 101. I'm back with Chef Alli, and she has got all kinds of props here. I mean, you can't see them, but they're really cool. I'll take a picture and we'll put them on Facebook so that you can see what she's talking about. But she's got all kinds of great ideas.
And actually, if you don't mind, if you guys, whoever's listening, if you want to, Jenny that works for me, she just put up a blog post on my blog. If you go to chefallis with an S.com, you can click on the blog, and we will actually, right on the homepage, have this list completed of the 2017 gifts that we're kind of recommending for people if you're looking for an idea. So I hope you don't care that I put that out there.
No, I want you to. Awesome.
So these are the things that over this year, have been kind of important to me. And one of the things I showed you, Karey, was the wine glass writers, which are really fun for marking somebody's name on their wine glass, or if you just wanted to say Merry Christmas or whatever. Those are really cool. I love those because they rub right off. And they come in a set. I think they come 4 or 5 to a set, all different colors. So that's kind of fun, especially if you have somebody like my neighbor, Alma, who's real artsy-fartsy and she can make them all look really cool.
So where did you get them?
That's a good question.
I'm sure you get Amazon it.
Probably. But I think that I might have gotten this at over in Fairlawn Plaza Mall. Okay. Sweet Baking Supply and Kitchen Gallery. Those are back up and going. I think this is where I got those. So you might check them out first because I like to support local.
Absolutely.
I know you do too, as much as I can. And if she doesn't have them, I know she will get them. And I ask you about this, which you guys, of course, can't see that, but it's a clear acrylic button. And actually, it's a cheese button. Okay, so you stick it into your wedge of cheese, like when you're making a charcuterie board, a meat and cheese board at Christmas time. So you put that in there, and then it gives your guests something to hold on to as they're cutting the cheese, which, of course, they're going to be cutting the cheese with your cheese knife. This probably has a special name, but I can't think of what it is. But see how it has those ridges in there, Karey? Yeah. So what happens is, if you use just a regular knife, the cheese sticks to the knife and you have to pry it off of there. Because of those ridges, the cheese won't stick. And I was kind of shocked when I bought this. I got it at the Cook's Nook out at McPherson thinking, oh, yeah, I want one of those. And I get up there, and this little plastic knife $17.
Oh, wow.
And I thought, oh my gosh, well, I'm too embarrassed to say I'm too cheap to buy that, so I'll pay for it. But you know what? It works so well that it is worth the $17. I do have to say that now.
So whenever she showed me the button, I don't know if you've ever used the little skewer things that you put on the ends of corn cobs. That's what I thought they were. Those are from really big corn cobs, but that's what it looks like. It's what it reminds me of. It has the little prongs. So it kind of gives you an idea. And again, we'll post the pictures on our Facebook page so you can see it.
Yeah. And then this is a corn stripper. Okay. And so what you do, I'll let you take a picture of it real quick. And so you put I haven't used this since last summer. So you stick your ear of corn down in there. And then, let me see. Oh, yeah. Let me see if I can, if I can get this apart. And so, this goes on the top. So you have your corn in there like that. And then you take this insert and you just press down, zoom, and all the corn comes right off the cob.
It almost looks like a water bottle.
It does look like absolutely. Yeah. So that's really handy, like if you do a lot of freezer corn at the end of the summer, when your sweet corn's ready, or if you just want to take it off the cob, like if you wanted to make corn cakes. Super handy tool that I used a lot this summer. And then this is chick wrap. Have you heard of chick wrap?
No.
Now, I got this thinking, okay, I don't know if I'm really going to like that. But of all of these tools for this year, this is number one on my list because this is so handy. So watch, when you this is usually how I do it at home. So if you set your dish, whatever it is you want to cover, right next to your chick wrap, okay, and then you just pull it out, kind of measure and see how much you want, and then you just run this across there to cut it. And it's just so easy because you no longer have to fight with your plastic wrap roll. And I just think that is the most awesome thing ever. How many times have you spent like 20 minutes fighting with that stupid thing and never did get it apart? This stops that. I love it. You can buy refills for it. There's all different kinds of cool prints. They have foil, they have wax paper, they have parchment paper. This is the only one I have because I don't fight with my parchment paper at home or my foil. But that stupid plastic wrap, no more.
I'm going to need a guy print for that. More manly.
Something more manly. Yeah, absolutely. And then measuring cups. So whenever I'm out and about across Kansas doing presentations, this is what people will stop me and ask me about because of the long handles. And so like when you want to scoop flour or anything that you're measuring, that, and these, as far as I know, they are on Amazon, but the brand is Volrath, and they retail for like $50 because they're stainless steel. But I'm told that out at the Cook's Nook in McPherson, that if you call out there or go to their website, that they have these by a different brand, and they're probably more around $30. But there's 5 in a set, and I totally love these. I have a magnetic bar on my refrigerator with hooks on it, and so I just hook them up there so when I want one, I can grab it really fast.
That's awesome.
But yeah, people really have migrated towards those when they see them. So yeah. And then, the Foley fork. Okay. You got to get a Foley fork. And if you don't know what a Foley fork is, just go to Amazon and search for it, and it'll come up. And it's a funky looking little fork that's bent at the end. And this is the best thing ever when you're trying to make a pastry crust and cut the fat into your flour. You don't have to use your pastry blender. I'm not a huge fan of those. They always hurt my hand. But this works slick as a whistle. Anybody who makes a lot of pastry crust needs a Foley fork. So
it's really cool.
And guess what? It would fit in your stocking. Be a great stocking stuffer.
Yeah, no kidding. I could turn you and my husband loose in a appliance store, and I'd be broke.
Just give us your credit card. That's all we need. Yeah.
He's the only guy I've ever seen that gets more excited about going to a hunting store like, any of
Cabela's
or any of that. Just as excited about getting hunting stuff as he is about getting cooking stuff. I mean, we have gadgets that I truly have no idea what they're for. And we have a huge kitchen. That's the reason why we bought our house. So we have tons of cabinetry, and it is all full. And I have a separate armoire that is completely full, too. Mm-hmm. I'm like, dude, at some point, you
got to stop.
You either have to use it or get rid of it.
I love it. I'd love to come to your house and see all of his gadgets. Yeah. That's cool.
Well, he'd get a kick out of that. He loves to cook. And again, he does the, like out at Potawatomi, the casinos, doing all the cooking competitions.
Oh, the competitions,
and stuff.
yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep.
So, yeah. And
Awesome.
It cracks me up because I'd never heard that you need to let your meat rest before you cut it. And he freaks out because everybody wants to start tasting it. And he's like, you have to let it rest. Stop it. You're messing up my meat. So.
Got to have beauty rest. Yeah, he's exactly right. That's so cool. We're always in a hurry because we want to eat.
Yeah.
You know, but as the creator of that, you want them to have a great experience. And so it's like, you got to be patient because I want you to really enjoy this. So, yeah. I think your husband and I would get along just fine.
Oh, yeah. He'd be in hog heaven. He's always joking about helping me do the show. So maybe next year.
Have you ever interviewed him on here?
I have. Yeah.
Has he? Cool.
He
Or you have?
actually-
Cool. That's awesome.
He owns Brown's Tree Service. So
Okay.
anytime we do the Kansas garden show,
Uh-huh.
he helps me with that.
Very good. So you're both entrepreneurs.
Yes.
Very
we are.
cool. I
We're
love
both
that.
Slightly crazy.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. You have to be a special kind of crazy to own and run a business, I think.
I would agree with you. Yeah. Yeah. But there isn't any other way to do it, I think. Once you start, there's a lot of pain sometimes, but there's so much good too. You know, it's, you get to be your own boss, and it's good and it's bad. I know.
Yeah. There's everybody thinks it's so easy, and the boss is the one that reaps all the benefits, but you also get to reap when it's not great. So, but we wouldn't trade it for anything.
Right.
So, yeah, he used to be really bashful, but I got him on the show, and now he's kind of got this thing going, and he doesn't mind it, and he keeps throwing hints out. And I'm like, honey, nobody wants to listen to both of us all the time. But you two on a show together would be hilarious.
Well,
I don't know that we'd have enough time for it, though.
Well, and we would be trying to best each other on all of our cooking
would.
tools, and we would. But it would be fun. Yeah, I love to talk about food with people. And I said that already. Cooking. It's just neat to see people eat well, and people will ask me, are you all about healthy cooking, or who are you? And I said, I'm the Kitchen Crusader. And to me, it's about real food for real people in real life. That's what, we got to have that relationship with food that's a good relationship, but it doesn't have to be. I'm all about moderation. Like those fried foods you were talking about, we can still have them, just not every day, right?
Right.
But they make a wonderful treat. But you know what? I couldn't even tell you the last time I fried a chicken. Whereas like my grandma Elsie, she fried chicken every single Sunday. Can you imagine that?
My mom did.
Yeah, see?
Yeah.
But such great memories, too, that go with food. And sometimes how you can walk in somewhere and just smell something, and it'll take you right back to something really good or really bad, depending.
I will say that I ordered my groceries from Hy-Vee and had them delivered.
Oh, sweet.
I live 6 minutes from the office, but they would only deliver to the office because that's still Topeka. But,
gotcha.
So anyway, brought it all in, had everything. I've got all the fresh foods and all the vegetables and everything, and cut it all up. And I did send my husband a picture and say, see, I am trying. So I had baked chicken, and I had all the roasted vegetables laid out on the pans, and made baked potatoes. And he was like, okay, now keep it up when I get home. And I'm like, no, you owe me weeks of cooking. So where can they find you online?
So you can go to my website, Chef Alli's with an S. So it's Chef Alli's, ALLIS.com. That's my website. And there's a big red button. Just click on that. It will take you right over to our recipes. If you're looking for recipes for anything, pressure cooker recipes, I have a lot of those up there. I am on Facebook, Instagram, and you know what? Usually on Thursday evenings, I like to do some virtual things, and so I do a Facebook Live on Thursday evenings at 8 o'clock right from my kitchen. So if you go to Facebook, watch for those at 8 o'clock on Thursday evenings.
So yeah, I may be able to learn how to cook just by watching that. So if you're looking to buy or sell a house, be sure and give us a call at 785-213-5188. You can also find us on Facebook by looking for Realty Executives Preferred Advisors Team. And we're, again, on Twitter, Pinterest, Instagram, all of that, again, by looking for Realty Executives Preferred Advisors Team. Thanks for listening to Real Estate 101.
Thank you for listening to Real Estate 101 with the Karey Brown team from Realty Executives Preferred Advisors. Tune in again next Sunday at 11 o'clock for Real Estate 101.